Taste Daily. Taste the Daily.
அனுஜ் ஸ்டைல்ஸ் ரகங்கள் பலவிதம் ஒவ்வொன்றும் உலகத்தரம்.
Holidays-நாலே அது நம்ம GT Holidays தான். South India's #1 travel brand.
Hi Anil.
Hi.
What's up?
Yeah, Pushpa 2 is up.
So you watched the film twice. Even I watched the film twice.
Yes, I rewatched it yesterday night.
So what were your initial reactions when you first watched it for the first time as opposed to second time?
So can I take 2 minutes of your time before we start the video?
Sure.
So I want to say something. So I'm very grateful, eternally grateful for courts of our country for letting us
Talk about films. No.
Yeah.
For letting us talk about films.
ఇది ఒక్కటి
Yeah.
So rich and powerful of our country get away almost with anything, and especially south culture or people of South India may come off as educated and all. I think those things are fragmented and those things are compartmentalized, but socially we are very conservative, not in a good way, and we are very feudalistic when it comes to expressing opinions. So usually people don't want us to talk about things, and you may say like cinema is cinema, right? Such a low impact or such a low stakes industry, so you could say what you want to say, but down south here, especially in Telugu states, film is a subset of politics. It is the PR wing of the political system, so usually the stakes are very high, and we regularly get death threats and things like that. We are constantly under pressure to not speak. Just about cinema, we are not talking about politics. We are not allowed to speak and say the things we wish to say just regarding films usually. That's why many people are quitting the field left and right. But thankfully, the courts of our country have upheld the right of ours to express and and letting us be who we are, at least legally speaking. We do have immense pressure. We are one step away from a mob attack, death threat here, a death threat there. So I'm happy that we Indians still have the right to express what we want to say. So it's a genuine thank you from my side, and of course from all the reviewers of Telugu community to the courts of our country. Thank you. So
a lot of people asked me why I sounded so apologetic in my review.
Okay.
People were like, why do you have so many disclaimers? Why are you trying to be so defensive? Why are you trying to sound so apologetic? I said, dude, I have a face, I have a name,
Stakes.
I have a family. It's not like I'm just giving voiceover with a slideshow of images. Right? I have consequences. People know my name. People know my wife's name. So
address, they know everything.
Yeah.
I don't know, we get discovered people we know and we love are quitting the field because they are being forced to.
I don't think this is just an Indian phenomena. I think the New York Times critic A.O. Scott,
I know.
he quit last year because he said these people don't want to engage with. He was referring to all those fandoms, the superhero fandoms in America, but it's a worldwide phenomena. But that's okay. Yeah, the reason I sounded so defensive in my review was that obviously I didn't want to get attacked, and which anonymous accounts will never know what it feels to be in the spotlight. So let's.
So let's get back, enough of politics. But keep an eye out for us, guys. So I'm specifically talking to people that are not from Telugu cultures, for which we are like. So do keep an eye out. Like, do look out for us. If you are not visible for a few days, do inquire.
Again, nobody gives us respect. We don't have any dignity. But fuck it, we are here because we love cinema.
Yes, that's all.
So tell me this: we watched the film together the first time.
Yes.
What were your initial thoughts? I was very disappointed the first time. Second time, my thoughts. I wouldn't say my thoughts have like drastically changed, but there's been a change. What's the status with you?
So definitely nothing has drastically changed. Like my first watch was, I found it okay. I did not hate it. I felt a little bit disappointed. I will get into why. We'll get into the reasons. But second time was better. But what I found the second time was, even though it's not boring to watch it the second time, but there's very little rewatch value. I wasn't excited to watch any scene like, okay, now this scene is coming, except one or two
even
scenes.
The Jatara?
Yeah, even one. My favorite scene is the pre-interval scene. Jatara scene was okay, cool. I have issues with Jatara scene also. We'll see. first half, so Pushpa 2, first half is a totally different film and second half is a totally different film. So all the flaws, all those things get exacerbated. Exacerbated, is that the word?
I don't know.
Okay, exaggerated in the second part. So yeah, so first half of Pushpa 2 is great and second half of Pushpa 2 is okay, mid.
Okay.
Yeah, and it hasn't changed in the second watch also. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the positives first. Man, I wanted to say, I watched the film for the second time and I loved Allu Arjun in it.
Yes.
See, I'm not talking about the more performative, more theatrical sequences like the Jatara sequence or the climax. There, it's evident that he's performing well and he's great.
Yeah.
But I loved him in those smaller moments, like when he goes to meet the CM for the very first time, and you see Siddhappa is talking to the CM, and the CM is acknowledging that Pushpa is a big deal. Like there is this happiness on his face. He's not even in the center of the frame. He's in the background. He's so happy. He's trying to be humble about it. Pushpa is not a humble guy,
No, he's not.
but he's trying to be humble in front of the CM. But still, there is this excitement and happiness that's overflowing. And he looks at Keshava and he gives a smile. See how far we have come. That kind of a smile. All those little moments, he was so good. That one, and even the police station scene. I really appreciate that this film went for a lot of long takes. Like so many long takes.
They do that in Pushpa 1 as well, but can we get directly into this? So they have changed the editor for the second part. Even though Naveen Nuli is a very popular editor here in Telugu industry and he's a national award winner, if I'm not wrong.
He won for Josie.
He won it for JC. So usually I don't know how it happens, but he usually gets the longest films for some reason. If a film is close to 3 hours, it usually goes to Naveen Nuli for some reason. So he does these weird things. Like in the first part, long takes are like they are let alone. Like they are left alone. They are not screwed around with. But
you mean they are not like there are no reactions?
There is no suggestion shots. There is no reaction shots. Intercuts. Like there is no cut in a long shot. That's why it's a long shot, right? But here in the second part, he has these weird close-ups, reaction shots. Those did not work for me. Like the pre-interval scene where he's coming and he's talking to Keshava. Like, were you shocked? In that randomly we get a close-up of Rashmika. So director and the DOP thought Rashmika is a background actor.
Yeah.
We only see her face in focus when she comes forward and hands over the bottle, right? So she's supposed to be that. Like that's how they shot it. But he adds these random reaction shots. Even in the Jatara scene, like in that single shot where he's doing that sari thing and all, we randomly get this reaction shot of that
Rashmika,
fellow.
Rashmika and the family.
Yeah. And also this fellow, the villain guy who's harassing the women and all. So these things break the flow of the film. And these things take us out of the film. Like the single takes often are exaggerated or not done well.
But they're generally very showy.
Yeah, very showy, and they do not add anything to the narrative. But in Pushpa 1 and here, they add lot of they add lot of things to the narrative, and they take those things make the world realistic because they let us into the chaos of the whole thing. We are watching as if we are part of the scene. It works. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it works. But because there were so many intercuts, we are constantly made aware that we are watching a film, and that's where we see that's where all these flaws are highlighted. I know it sounds like a minor thing. It's not. Especially in the second half where we see the flaws of the writing. We see the narrative falls apart and we don't know where we are going. So until the Jatara scene,
there's clear focus. Until Kisik, there is focus to an extent.
Yes.
I had the film ended after Kisik, I would have been happy.
Even
I would have been happy because you are giving a closure to, let's say, few elements at least on a philosophical level. What is Pushpa? Like you remember the first conversation Pushpa has with Shekhawat. He says brand. You don't have a brand. Now Pushpa is a brand. Like he has reached such a great position that he no longer needs a surname. He is beyond that. he is such a big brand that people are living off of his name. So he really doesn't need that validation. He doesn't need that brand at all, which is what is communicated beautifully in the Shrivali's monologue. It like after that point it didn't matter to me, because you have one man, you have everyone around you, like you have built an army, people love you, people love you. That's it. So end the film with kissing, I would have been happy, because he did everything. But again, for me, you remember this the last time we spoke about this delayed gratification thing that Pushpa follows. They have completely let go of it here, and they went for instant gratification. Wildfire, which one?
Like where he says wildfire, he's leaving, then he's called back. There are certain
no, that's very conventional compared to what
exactly what Pushpa
the writing
tried
pattern.
To do.
Here I think they went for instant gratification. Like you do something, cause action.
And that so I think many people are confused. So even with our review and the discourse that we are talking about, like the discourse that we are having, so people are thinking, people are of this opinion that, especially I am, like people think that I am saying Pushpa 2 is a bad film.
It's not.
It's not a bad
It's
film.
not. We are not saying the.
Yeah.
But Sukumar, for him, good is not the standard. Or watchable, engaging, fun, entertaining is not the standard. He's beyond that.
Yeah. Or even a standard Telugu film is not his forte. But Pushpa 2, by the end, it becomes a standard Telugu film. And that's not a good thing.
Yeah. So, we keep talking about this, right? Sukumar never goes for the obvious choices. Like, he's the guy in Arya. There is this beautiful scene in college where there is a situation for a fight. It's a superb situation for a fight, but there is no fight. The hero can show his power, but he doesn't hit people. Instead, he breaks objects. So it is communicated that this guy is very powerful and he has strength. But you are not taking the most obvious route to arrive there. You are still communicating what's needed, but the path you are taking to communicate that, it's not obvious. But in Pushpa 2, even in Pushpa, that doesn't happen. You don't take the most conventional ways. But here, I think that happened. Like, we discussed this last time, right? How are they going to resolve the family conflict? And you were like, no, there is that girl, probably she'll get kidnapped, and then he'll go and find her, it'll be resolved. And I defended saying that won't happen, because it's the most basic thing a filmmaker can do. It's like the first draft of an idea.
Standard Telugu trope.
Like, we have seen it in so many films, and I have seen so many posts on social media saying this is going to happen. And I was like, obviously Sukumar is not going to opt for that choice. And when that happened in theater, I was so bloody disappointed. Like, okay, even you are taking these choices.
I rarely use the word, but I cringed. I really use that word, but I cringe. Like, why are we doing this? Okay, like he does. Like when we see that, okay, this is where it is going, I cringed. It is implemented decently well. I'm not.
The scene that follows in the TV station, the way they place the camera, and he's like, he's looking there, he's not looking at the camera. Change the camera. See, that is a Sukumar thing. Okay. So the way it is implemented, what follows it is fun, but the entire purpose felt very futile.
Yeah, because like speaking of the obvious, like you were saying, opening with a fight and all, Pushpa 1 doesn't have a fight. Like, it opens very casually. We are not seeing this big fight.
But Pushpa 1 has a cold opening of a fight. It has a cold opening, which is a fight.
But that is not your conventional fight.
And in that also you are getting to know about this character. Like, what is this guy up to? My problem with the opening is that two things. Structurally, they tried to mimic Pushpa 1 because you open with a cold fight, you cut and then get to the narrative. Then you start the narrative chronologically. In Pushpa 1, it still makes sense because I don't know where the fight fits in chronologically, but
within the timeline.
But within the timeline, it makes sense because this guy, he smuggles the Red Sanders to Chennai, right? So after reaching there, I think he tells that I had to pay 1 lakh for SI Manikandan. He might be Jeevan, who he played. So it makes sense. But this Japan thing, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like you remove that whole thing, at least according to
Yes,
me, I'm
yes.
not giving Sukumar suggestions or anything.
Yeah, we can. It's okay.
No, I'm not that big. You remove that fight and you start with the childhood episode, the entire mood of the film is different.
So why are we not starting with the like where he's going into the water? I think so. So for people that are not from Telugu industry, so I'll tell you. So like we hear a lot of chaos. What happens on the set? So this is always a dilemma for me. So we do have certain information that a regular audience does not have access to. So should we look at the film based on the information that we have?
Let's not speculate. Let's just.
I'm not
look at
speculating. I'm not speculating. So we do know that for a fact that there was a lot of chaos on the set.
Reshoots and all.
Reshoots. There were certain sequences. They cancelled or they scrapped the sequences that they've shot for 2-3 months. Like all these things were happening, and there was a lot of drama also which spilled onto the stage.
But these reports are not confirmed, no.
No. I mean.
No, let's maintain that.
So that is my issue. Like this is a big dilemma that I have. So should we take into consideration all the things that we know, or should we look at the product that we have at hand?
We should look at the product that we have at hand.
So if we look at it from that point of view, certain things do not make sense at all. So structurally, it doesn't make sense. Like where we are starting. So like it's the rule. So the title of the film is Pushpa the Rule, and so the structure of the film is like we are following few days in the life of Pushpa when he's ruling. That's all. There is no arc or
end point or start point.
Yeah,
there is no transformation or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we are following character of Pushpa, his rule, how he is doing things. That structure is followed until the Jatara scene. Then we need to resolve this conflict. Okay, it makes sense. Then, like you were saying in the first Pushpa 1, the cold opening, there is no plot point that is being given to us. Like it is, we are not being given any new information. But in the Japan thing, we are being given some new information that he has come for money, he's come with a ticket and all. That goes literally nowhere. So was it supposed to be in the beginning of the film? Like I don't know. Like it looks like an editing thing.
Yeah.
So we see a lot of continuity
reconstruction
errors. We see a lot of continuity errors because when the CM for the first time visits his home, he's wearing one dress. That same dress is again seen in the climax, that safari suit. That same dress is like we see him wearing the same dress in the climax fight also. It's highly unlikely that Pushpa is using the same clothes again.
Yeah.
So that was supposed to be followed by this. So we see a lot of these editing things that don't make sense. Okay. And I think, so I have this doubt, I don't know, you can confirm. Does Shekhawat have this scar from the beginning?
Yeah, in the first film also he has that scar.
Okay.
See, for me, I'll tell you, if you wanted to end the film with the family resolution, see, I'm not saying that this is how a film has to be. I'm not trying to dictate.
Sure.
I'm telling these are the rules that are followed. That family thing is the point you are using for final resolution. Okay. In that case, you should have brought that to the forefront from the beginning of the film.
From earlier.
Okay. That's why I'm saying if the film didn't open with the Japan sequence, had it opened with that water drowning, that kid sequence, the mood would have been perfectly set. And interval, I have an issue with the way we use intervals. For us, interval is a very important point in Indian cinema. It's very important, right? Our stories are written in a way that there is a bang, that there is an explosion halfway through the film. Whether our stories are built for interval, man. Like we don't write 3-act structure, 5-act structure stories. We don't do that. Our stories are written with interval in mind. And if you look at any film, an interval is supposed to represent the core conflict of the film.
Yeah, what the movie is about.
Generally, that is what happens. Even if you take in Rangastalam, you don't get the interval. The interval card doesn't appear when he confronts Jagapati Babu. Like they could have done that. When Ramcharan and Adi, when Chitti Babu and what's his brother's name?
Adi Piniset, we don't know the character.
Kumar Babu. When Chitti Babu and Kumar Babu go with the flag and confront the president, they could have had a cool shot saying interval. That doesn't happen. The film comes back from flashback to present, where Ram Charan is sitting with Prakash Raj. That is when you get interval. The doctors say that Prakash Raj, it's very hard for him to survive, and Ram Charan is saying, no, you have to survive, I'll make sure he survives. That is when you get the interval. So, first time you're watching it, it just looks like just another interval. You see the entire film, you understand why that card appears there. Okay. Here, when you're using the family thing to resolve, to give a closure to the film, the interval point also should have foreshadowed that, right? Is what they had a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, so it's like for the first half of the film, they totally forgot this whole
family thing.
Ajay character. Like we do see in the opening, in the Srivalli opening thing, we do see that in the temple and all. That context comes up, but largely we are forgotten like what's happening. So this is where the thematic conflicts come in. So are we talking about the rule of Pushpa, or are we exploring the ego dynamic between Shekhawat and Pushpa, or are we exploring the family dynamic?
Or the vulnerability of Pushpa, which has always been a thing throughout the first film also.
Yeah. So even though these themes were explored in the first part, they came very organically. And there was clear segmentation. We start with Pushpa being vulnerable and him not having a surname. Then we see his rise. Then that's where Shekhawat comes in. Here, I don't know where we open with, where we are ending with, like how it goes about. And the ending is abrupt. And
it is abrupt.
And this is not our opinion. I've literally talked to many people. And yesterday also, people were surprised. Okay, I paint that.
Same.
Yeah, is it over?
Which is good because the film is 3 hours 20 minutes long.
So that is
it. Which is great, no?
Yeah, nobody is saying that it's
long.
Yeah.
How cool is that, man?
Yeah.
It's a 3 hour 20 minute film, and I was surprised when the film ended.
Yes.
When the card of film with Sukumar came up, I was surprised because I was genuinely prepping myself for another sequence. And I was ready. If the film was 20 minutes longer, I wouldn't have minded. It felt abrupt.
Yes. So here is the question, right? So did we were we surprised because we felt like the time was passing quickly, or was it because we weren't given the meat like we were expecting it to have?
Both, because I think the number of events in Pushpa 2 way less compared to Pushpa
because
1.
we are not being given any new conflict, and we have not resolved literally anything except one. So majority characters start at the beginning of Pushpa 2, where the characters start, they are exactly
where they
even at the end of the movie, they are exactly there. And here we can get into the characters. I was extremely disappointed with how villains were handled.
My God.
Yeah.
See, first things on this front, not in Sukumar's defense, but I think this is how the team might have seen it. They didn't consider Mangalam Srinu and Dakshani as villains in the first place.
In the first
place, they were like Dakshani and Mangalam Srinu are not villains at all. They didn't even treat them like villains. They didn't even treat them like
Pushpa 1 or in Pushpa 2?
In Pushpa 2.
Yeah.
They might have already thought, they are put in their place and Pushpa is so big now. Maybe that might have been their. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that they weren't, they were supposed to make a difference, right? But they didn't. They literally did nothing. Yeah. And the way Shekhawat's character is introduced, like he gets a very cool intro, and what he does with that hand, like he shoots one guy and he does it. This is my brand, which is all cool, which is very. That is like the typical
Sukumar
Shekhawat thing. And from the moment he comes back to the police station, it's a downhill. It's downhill for the character, and you won't believe they did him dirty, man. I felt bad with that swimming pool scene. I mean, you're not supposed to feel bad for the villain. But like, this guy is supposed to be powerful. Like, he casually kills people, in the first film. And you don't even get to see him killing. He asks, like, when there is no seat space, he asks the guy's name. He tells the name and he says, and he shoots.
Yeah.
He does it twice and that's it. Message communicated. Like this guy is supposed to be that evil, and you are making him a joke.
So that's particular. So like we were discussing in our previous video, great art is idiosyncrasy is done well, but there is a thin line between idiosyncrasy and a perversion. So it might come off as perversion that Pushparaj's character pissing in the pool, but that worked for me because it's so absurd and this guy is in like literal shock. Like he's being hit by this car and he's literally shocked. Like what the fuck is happening? So you don't expect it that, like we were talking, like we did not expect Pushpa to have these bold choices. It does have these bold choices, but they are very few, and it doesn't end with a bold choice. Yeah, and like in our first video we were referencing to how characters don't change. But literally from part 1 to part 2, the villains' characters, how they're treated, changes drastically.
Like Mangalam Srinu is literally behaving like Sunil only.
Exactly.
Like, he didn't feel like Mangalam Srinu to me.
So for people that don't know, Sunil is a legendary comedian. Legendary. Like he's one of the greatest character artists of our time, of 21st century at least. So he's somebody that we all grew up with.
Yeah.
Now, so he's a comedic actor. So for the first time, or is one of his serious roles.
Was in Pushpa.
Was in Pushpa 1 and he did superbly well.
I didn't see Sunil in...
Yeah. We only saw Mangalam Srinu.
Here I can see Sunil when he's saying, like you have to be surprised if he says sorry.
Yeah.
And every time this guy comes back to finish a job, like it doesn't feel like Mangalam
Srinu. We are seeing Sunil. And it doesn't make sense why Dakshayani is suddenly taking calls. It's not like she's adding anything. Like she's basically doing the talking instead of Mangalam Srinu. I don't know why. Maybe they got scared that we have, like again, the Dakshayani character is played by another popular actor here from Telugu. So they might have got like, okay, we have casted her and she's like in the first part, she's pinned as one of the central characters. She got her own poster reveal and all. So maybe they got worried that, okay, people will say we have forgotten about her and all. So maybe she was given few lines, but it doesn't work. Like one of my co-host Bean was saying, like, so you were saying the movie, so can we talk about how...
What was your co-host saying?
So I don't know. He was saying how the structure of the movie should have been. Like within the scenes that we had, what it should have opened with.
See, this is where I will stop because I generally don't do this.
Exactly.
That's the difference between
that's why I stopped.
you guys and me because I don't tell them this is how it should have been. I don't do that generally, but I do have like one thing I have it. I wish the film opened with the childhood. We don't need the Japan portion is what I felt.
So I've been hearing news that was done specifically because they've seen the film. Once the film is done, edited, the first part literally doesn't have a fight. Yeah. And this is supposed to be an action film. So that's why that fight is brought in. But again, why should Pushpa take conventional choices? I don't understand.
That's conventional choices is my problem with the film. Because Sukumar is the unconventional guy. Yeah. He never takes this traditional... We have 100 other filmmakers to do that.
And the crazier part is people have accepted him. So it's not like he's some niche filmmaker. He's a commercial mass filmmaker and we know the wonders that Pushpa has done. Pushpa 1 has like achieved. And it was like people have accepted him for what he is. Both the character and him, the filmmaker. So again, I don't know why we are doing this. But again, let's acknowledge the fact that movie is doing tremendous
phenomenally, man. I'm looking at videos from Rajasthan and Jharkhand. Like wow.
I was anticipating this. Like I was using this line. No, Pushpa 2 will show how big India is. So we have actually forgotten how big India is.
No, I'm saying today morning I looked at BMS and in BMS you can change the location and below those 5 to 6 major cities you get a list of towns and I'm randomly swiping and I'm randomly opening. Pushpa 2, fast filling. Like random towns, names of towns that I haven't heard before. Like randomly I'm swiping and opening. Pushpa 2 is red. I'm like, wow, what's happening?
So people are lapping it up. So maybe the discourse of, like it will take time for things to come out how people are actually feeling about the film. Now everybody is in euphoria. Maybe we are also speaking too early, but we also want to be relevant. So that's why we are doing this quickly.
This is not social service.
But also, people are also interested now. So
people want to listen. Pushpa is the only thing that people have been
talking
about. No, but do you think Sukumar going the conventional way actually made the film more accessible, more likable for everyone?
So that is an argument that could be made by Telugu people, but that is not an argument that is universal, that can be applied universally.
See, to be very honest, I don't think that certain audience taste is more refined than the others.
No,
I don't
I'm not saying
subscribe
that.
to idea.
So the conventional route or the conventional structures or the themes that we are talking about are conventional to Telugu cinema. They are not necessarily they don't necessarily apply to audience from other cultures, because Pushpa 2 is being watched by people who have forgotten to watch cinema. They have not seen movies as such. Like movie is not part of their day-to-day life. Those people are watching this film. So how do we set defined conventions for those people?
I was in a cab and I was talking to a friend about Pushpa 2. The cab driver overheard my conversation and he was like, what did you think of the film? I said, you can definitely watch the film for Allu Arjun. He's so good in the film. Watch the film for Allu Arjun is what he said. And then I asked him, what is the last film you saw in theatre? He said, Bahubali 2.
Exactly.
And he knows Pushpa 2 and he is looking forward to Pushpa 2.
And for him, Pushpa 2 is a much bigger film than, like I was saying, no? Bahubali 2 might still end up making more money than Pushpa, which I doubt. Pushpa is now in real contention to break the records of Bahubali. But the impact of Pushpa goes beyond the collections. This is something else. So these defined conventions are for Telugu people. So that's why we are. So I don't think the unconventionality of Pushpa 1 was a hindrance, and I don't think the conventionality of Pushpa 2 is an asset.
Okay.
It
didn't make any difference?
No. From a larger audience perspective, for Telugu people, it might have. That's why it is doing reasonably well than Pushpa 1 did, as far as Telugu states are concerned. And the criticism is also not, even though the film is receiving certain flack, but largely it's okay. People are not minding the film.
That's what I'm saying. It's a very engaging film. I watched it twice, man. I wasn't bored.
Yeah.
I wasn't bored, like even in the second viewing, even though I knew what was going to happen, I wasn't bored. It's a 3-hour, 20-minute film, which is such a big deal, no? Like, and people who want to get entertained, there is more than enough for them. There is comedy, like I was laughing at a couple of instances, like the ending, even though I'm not convinced with the purpose of that whole climax fight, it's done well. It's done well, and I'm feeling that high when he's going and biting those like I love the climax. Just that I'm not okay with again the same thing only, like saving the honor of a woman being used for two of the biggest sequences in the film.
Yes.
When you could have done, like when the challenges of Pushpa could have been much bigger.
I think this is where the fundamental thing about Pushpa, the flaws of Pushpa to come in. So Pushpa is supposed to be a ground to earth guy with no power, literally no power, and he's coming through ranks. So imagine the scale of the film. It should not go beyond the few villages or the Chittur district. It's a district in Andhra Pradesh. So his impact or his vision should not go beyond this. It's such a small, it's a very region-centric thing.
Okay.
So that's why him going to Chennai or them crossing the border or them or that district SP, these are the biggest players there. A random MLA, a random MP. These are these people are looked up as, okay, these are very big people and they are untouchable. Like in the first part, Pushpa is afraid of going and talking to Mangalam scene only. So that is the scale of the film. Now suddenly we are seeing Pushpa is international. So it is the amping up of the world, that's where things go wrong.
See, I don't have a problem with that, to be very honest. No, I don't have a problem with the film going out, Pushpa going out. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is that this amping up is not actually contributing to the character's growth. Like growth in the sense that guy is growing, the story is not progressing. That's my problem.
It's not done. So, like if Pushpa is easily able to influence the Sri Lanka, like governments of foreign countries. Look, he basically has Sri Lankan Navy under his control. Then how the hell does Shekhawat being his nemesis make sense?
That's one of my major problems with the film. Like Pushpa is so big.
Yeah.
Like what should I be afraid of? Because I know that Pushpa is so massive.
Yeah.
He's splurging money.
Yeah.
He can influence anyone. He can buy anyone off.
Yes.
He's so cool.
Yeah.
He's so powerful. Like what is actually
Stopping
posing a
him.
threat?
Yeah.
Nothing. Literally nothing.
So they should have confined it to a region, or him going international. So that is where all the flaws emerge, because all the characters are local, all the drama is happening locally, but we have to show him like he's this big international character. Those things, like if they had time or if they had implemented it well, maybe it would have worked, but as of now they have not worked. So, and this is where we are seeing those inconsistencies come in. And one of my, so they've done like, okay, let's focus on the things that have worked. So one thing that has worked, those Sukumar's themes exist. So like Pushpa 1 is a land-based film because it's a local thing. He is rising. Now Pushpa 2, as it is international, there's predominant things about water. And again, this is where I think we see a shot in Pushpa 2 trailer where Shekhawat is
Emerging out of water. No?
Yeah. So Pushpa opens with the child thing opens with water.
And the first time you see the name Pushpa, it is in the reflection of
it's
water.
reflection of water. And the whole river scene. So water comes in consistently through the film. But because Naveen Ulia, for some reason, I think he thought it was lag or something, so he cut off the whole Shekhawat's part. So again, these are editing choices which I have used things about. Again, they might. He has done a great job, obviously, that's why people are not getting bored. But these, I would have loved to see these things exist.
I mean, it's not a small feat. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but it's a 3-hour, 20-minute film and nobody is complaining about the runtime. Nobody is saying that, oh, this scene is so long, this scene is so boring. I didn't feel that any scene overstayed its welcome. Every scene still has a proper start point and proper end point. Like you take that scene where Siddhappa goes to meet Pratap Reddy for the very first time. The scene opens with Laddu.
Yeah.
It opens with Laddu. You see Srivari Prasadam, that cover, and it goes to Jagavat Babu. The scene ends with the Laddu being served to everyone. And that scene is obviously intercut with Pushpa going and giving that guy one sofa and making a phone call to Pratap Reddy. So a lot of scenes, it's good. I'm not saying it's...
The first part, the quantity of scenes is done very well. So for example, after the end of Peeling song, Pushpa and Srivalli are having sex. Then we cut to Shekhawat having sex. So there's every scene has connection to other scene. The progression happens very organically. So first half is done very well, except the Japan scene. Japan scene is random. So from the cold opening, like letting go of the cold opening, the first half is near perfect, and all the scenes work for me as well. So Pushpa is cocky, but in a cute way. So all the characters work, all the settlement works, and Shekhawat. So people were like, even Shekhawat is. I think there were a lot of establishment shots that got chopped off. We only get this information through dialogues and all. So
which one?
Like they say, we are not seeing Shekhawat. Where is he? So I'm sure he is gone into hiding for a while. Then that was his big comeback. So I think movie loses track. So my big conspiracy theory is Sukumar didn't want to conclude anything because he did not feel like this was the right time to make this film.
Okay.
Ideally, Pushpa 2 should have happened maybe with people moving on, making another film and come back to Pushpa 2. That should have been the ideal case. But as things were, there was too much money riding on this thing. So they were constantly working on it, and in the process of all this, they did not have a plot. And as they had this deadline, so they've released a film without actually making a film. Like Pushpa 1 to Pushpa 2, there was this natural progression. That would have been the ego dynamic of the battle between Shekhawat and Pushparaj, then his family conflict. So they resolved the family conflict haphazardly, but they have not resolved the ego conflict thing. So Pushpa 2 is in essence a filler film.
Yeah. No, this is a thing in Hollywood, no?
Yeah.
They call this, right, in trilogies. Second film is, at least in the trilogies that we are seeing in post 2010s, it's like the second film always has this, I think there is even a term, Chris Tuckman says that second film syndrome or something.
Okay.
Basically the second film, you take this Fantastic Beasts, the second film in that basically does nothing.
Okay.
Other than setting up a third film. Halloween 2 does the same thing. Like the remake, I'm talking about the Blumhouse remake. This feels like a filler episode.
Yeah.
But the great thing is, you feel like something huge has happened,
Yeah.
but nothing has.
Yes. That's why we are all like largely, at least us, we were surprised. Oh, it has ended already.
Yeah. But people who again,
people are
I'm not looking down on
Sure.
anybody. I'm not looking down on audience. If it is making, it's going to make 1,000 crores, it's going to make 1,500 crores, it means the film has worked for them.
Yes.
And I'm not looking down on them. They're having fun with the mass blocks. They're having fun with the high movements, the elevations, which is complete,
Fine, just
which
fine.
I'm okay. I'm not saying that you should not look at the film this way.
Yeah.
They're looking at the film, they're having fun, everybody is enjoying. Great. As someone who really respects Sukumar and expects a level of writing from Sukumar,
That's our
film left
problem.
me. That is our problem. Just the two of us. You guys can.
Yeah.
People. There are a lot of people who are enjoying the film, and there are a few people like you and me who expected something from Sukumar. We were like, "Arey Suku sir, why did you do this?"
And I want to clarify, it's not an expectation problem as if we want him to mimic Pushpa 1 or something. No. It's the expectation of being wowed. That was our expectation. The expectation was not like, okay, we have to amplify what Pushpa 1 did or something.
That's the difference. That's the difference.
We were looking to what are the idiosyncrasies that he's going to come up with, what is the craziness
How is he going to surprise us now?
Yeah.
Like that's the point. No, Pushpa is so fucking huge now.
Yes.
Like what is his challenge going to be?
Yes.
Like what is going to stop him? So these were the things I was looking forward to. But that's okay. But are you really excited for Pushpa 3? I'm not.
I don't think it's
At this
happening
point, it
anytime
feels-
soon.
yeah.
It's going to take a while because Allu Arjun has multiple projects, Sukumar has multiple projects. I think they are fed up. And this is where I think Vetrimaran and Dhanush strategy of taking a break, because Vada Chennai had the same problem.
Chennai 2 will never get made, man.
Still, but because they were so fed up, they made Asuran because they just wanted a change of pace. So Sukumar and Allu Arjun should have ideally made another film, get Pushpa out of that system and come back to Pushpa. So we are clearly seeing the fatigue, especially by the end of the film, where Sukumar has basically creatively given up, even though he was on the set. Creatively, there was nothing happening. It was like how we are implementing the project that we have or the scene that we have on set. They have done very well on set, and luckily Pushpa doesn't feel unfinished. Pushpa 2 doesn't feel unfinished because Pushpa 1 was unfinished when it was released into theatres. There were a lot of technical issues. Luckily, those things are not here. Their mixing problems, all those things are there, but largely it feels like a complete product. At least we got that.
See, no disrespect to Sukumar, you know how much I love his films and all. For me, Pushpa 1 felt like art. This is cinema. Pushpa 2 felt like a neatly executed project. That's the difference. The difference in vision is apparent.
It's a combination. Like Pushpa 2 has been brought down to a combination factor. Okay, we have this Pushpa 1 hit combination.
Huge. Yeah.
So we have everything. We have the budget. We have the anticipation.
And people are just dying to see the film.
So let's release it. So this is more of a producer's call than a director's call. Which
but somebody like Sukumar must be having the creative freedom, no?
He's been given everything, but beyond a point, people are answerable, right?
The ending felt like a scam, no? Like at least give me a happy ending, man. Like this image of a whole family in a wedding.
Yeah.
It is the quintessential Shubham card.
Yes.
Like that is when that was happening, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
we are getting this. Like after how many? Like obviously we got Sarileru Nikevar and all had that, but it's a distinctively Telugu thing.
Yeah.
And I was so happy that was happening.
So we have this term called Shubham card, guys.
Shubham
So literally, Telugu cinema ends with a marriage with Shubham, like which means the end.
All the families there, everybody is hale and healthy.
Yeah.
They all look at the camera and smile, and now like, nice.
Yes.
Everybody is happy, and you leave the theater
Yeah.
happily. So, but you didn't even let me leave the theater happily.
Happily. No, you want to have that twist. So now it's like, so who's the guy in the end? Is it Shekhawat? Because he has burnt marks.
marks.
So why do we have this random logo? And why are all why is Jagapati Babu assembling all the villains at one place? How does he know who all hate Pushpa? Like, is he doing background research? Like, why how is this
See,
happening?
first of all, now I feel Jagapati Babu's casting is such a mystery.
Yeah.
It's Jagapati Babu doing Jagapati Babu things.
At least they have done him makeover. He's not wearing a suit.
Yeah, but still, Jagapati Babu does the same in every movie, no?
So for people that
I
don't
wish
know,
they had. No, they know. He does the same thing in Hindi films also. No disrespect, but he's being.
I don't think he has
typecast.
acted in Hindi films.
Kisi ka bhai, kisi ka jaan,
Acha. That,
Ruslan.
why are you watching all these films? So we genuinely, so whenever we show random picture, like one day we were talking and I wanted to post some meme. So we were discussing which Jayapati, like which movie is that still from? Because Jayapati Babu is the same guy with the beard, the money guy wearing the suit. What are, like, he's literally the same in every movie, even in Tamil films.
Yeah.
So
Even in Malayalam, Kannada films also.
so Pushpa 2 is playing the same role, except he looks like a politician. But yeah, character-wise, there is not much. But but he does get he does, like, he's part of a great scene. That whole mining scene works.
Yeah.
Works for me, but not because his character is adding anything there.
No, that character, anybody could have played that character, but you casting Jagapati Babu there makes him look like just another
Yes.
villain. Like there is no surprise there, but okay.
Especially such a great actor because he gets to play villain in Rangasthalam also.
Iconic role.
Yeah, iconic role.
Such a cool role.
Yeah.
Even in Nanaku Prematho.
Nannaku Prema.
Like you might not like it, but I like that film a lot.
Okay.
So because that's what I'm telling you, man. Sukumar's films have never been about brawn. They have been about brain. But Pushpa 2, you get those brainy parts, like how he's smuggling red sanders and all. But okay, even though they are giving me like glimpses of what I have seen in the first part, Sukumar's films are not about brawn. His films don't have to go and hit bad guys.
Yeah, characters, emotions.
How they think, how they
Are
plan, how they grow. To me, Pushpa 2, Pushparaj in the second film, his character was more action based, especially towards the last 40-45 minutes. He didn't feel like a Sukumar hero. Like, you talk about that Bugga Reddy guy, that actor is so good.
Yeah,
Tarak Ponnappa, brilliant.
Those things worked because he's a good actor. Like if we were to get some random, even Ajay is known for doing those kind of roles. Like if you were to have Ajay in
20 years ago, Ajay would have been playing that role. No?
I don't think it would have worked.
But that guy is so good, that evil smile, like you look at him and you are so pissed off.
Yes.
But my point is, Pushparaj is so huge.
Yeah.
Why the hell is he going and
Yeah. Like even the beginning of that scene, why does Pushparaj go and save the girl to begin with? Like, why is there no dialogue? Like, we give us something, no? Like, because we literally see in the earlier scene, at the end of the Jatra scene, they have like them severing, them cutting off relationships totally. So give me something like, why is Pushparaj going back to save the girl again? The reason cannot be simply that.
no, he says that no, I'll save the honor of every girl.
When
doesn't have to be her.
When has Pushpa become that? So even the opening scene, even though it's done very well, where he's rescuing all his people and all, why is suddenly Pushpa this messiah where he's concerned about, okay, he's good at his business and all, but suddenly he's being shown as this popular guy. Why?
I'm okay with that.
I'm
I'm
not.
okay with the opening scene where Pushpa himself is going to get the guy out for his wedding, because Pushpa is never he's not a Rocky Bhai. Not a Rocky Bhai in the sense, you don't see Rocky Bhai building schools and all. But Pushpa is a nice guy only. He's never like, I don't care about people. He's not like, even if somebody is dying in front of me, I'll not pay heed to it. He's not that kind of guy.
No, he's that guy. Like in the first part also, like he says Srivalli go, he does it.
No, but again, when he discovers that already raped a girl and all, like he gives her his shirt and he's like, drop her at her place. So he has that humanity left.
Okay, fine, but he's more interested in getting his business done.
No, when that scene happens, the business thing is not a part of like the deadline is not there. No, that happens.
No, that is where the deadline is, because why have you not shifted the mall in the...
Yeah, but by then there is still no that rush is not there. They don't know that Govindappa is coming.
I think they know.
No.
But anyway, okay.
Govindappa, when he is inside, when he goes inside and then he gets the call.
Okay.
So by that time he is just escorting the lady out. He's a nice guy is what I'm saying. So I'm not surprised with...
Okay, he could be a normal guy and he could be... Okay, like, but suddenly him becoming a messiah doesn't make sense.
Okay. For me, of all the issues
because of his dialogue, like, I have this mark on my thing.
Yeah, everybody who has that mark is a partner to me, which is a nice line only.
Okay.
Because he still considers himself to be one of them, no? I really like that line where he says,
the line is
the
good.
Mark I got from
the line is very
that.
good. Yeah, but okay, at least I should have got one or two scenes establishing this fact that people, why are his employees liking him that much? What is he giving them?
Okay, but I thought it's okay. Like okay, like in the opening
because people
song
are leaving marriages and all to
yeah,
and it's not just about money also.
Yeah, no, in the opening scene you see him like do Annadanam and all.
Yeah.
So it's like okay, and even Srivalli says no, on July 24th, let's invite
whole
Tirupati.
So I think it's coming from Srivalli. So that should have been established in a much way. So even him going and saving that girl, that impetus is also coming from Srivalli. Maybe that's
okay. That wasn't a deal breaker for me. But for me, the deal breakers in the film were the final 1 hour, how the entire film's priority shifted from Shekhawat to Bugga Reddy, who I genuinely don't think is that big of a deal that warrants Pushpa to come and beat him, because he's Pushparaj. Pushparaj doesn't have to fight with one random street thug, even though you might say that, oh no, but he is the nephew of a central minister, which every film does. What I am saying is, somebody like a Bugga Reddy is a kind of guy who would die in a regular film before interval. And that is when he would have the conflict with his brother or his father. That's how general films happen, right? Yeah. That guy is not that significant to end the film with. He is not big enough for you to reserve your finale for, is what I felt.
Yeah, it is a false ending.
I don't think this was the original climax, but I don't know.
That is what I'm saying. So, should we operate with what we are given?
We'll operate with what's given.
Yeah.
It'll become the narrative will become something else if we start talking about what went wrong or what might have gone wrong. Let's not speculate. Let's not get there at all. So, let's talk about the good parts also, man. I really liked.
I don't think people are coming like I don't think people are watching
video till here. No? We'll also have to restructure. We'll also have to add the climax in the beginning.
Yes. What worked for me is Pushpa the character, obviously. Certain parts of it do not make sense, but largely it makes sense because he's, like we were discussing earlier, he's confident in what he is now. And he's thinking about how he's being perceived and how he wants to project himself. So those conversations happen. And because like when he's in helicopter, he's now thinking, okay, we have to be humble now.
Yeah. It's how funny, no? He's like, yeah. when you're high, you have to be humble. Yeah.
Now he's enjoying his marital phase of his life, where he's now become more spiritual. Even though these aspects are there in the first part also, now he's like, he for the first time he has things to protect and value. And he now realizes that not everything is under his control, even though everything is literally under his control because it's his rule. But still, there he is aware of. He's smart enough to understand and be aware of the fact that certain things are still not under his control. That's where he goes to the higher powers and all. So those things have worked well. And the best part for me is what movies like Kalki fail to do. They fail to show people as people. But in Pushpa, nobody comes off as fake. Literally, even a throwaway character looks like a real person. Part of that world. He speaks. There's not one time where I felt the accent did not work. Maybe except for Jagapati Babu, because he speaks casually. Maybe Jagapati Babu is not supposed to be from that region. I don't know. But except Jagapati Babu, even a random side character speaks in perfect accent, perfect flow. Even though I'm not from Chittoor, I don't know. They might have. But for me, it felt authentic. So, for a film of this scale, amidst the chaos that they were operating under, for them to get these small things right was a big achievement.
Like there are so many scenes where you can hear what the background characters are talking.
Yes.
Like the levels are low, but you still know that there is a conversation happening there.
Nobody is static because Pushpa is saying something. People are still, and I absolutely love the fact that everybody still calls him Pushpa. Not Pushpa or Pushpa. Even the reporters are addressing him as Pushpa. See, he's so personable. So he's not this Rocky Bhai, like you were saying. He's not Rocky Bhai where people are like
unapproachable.
Unapproachable. He's very approachable. People like even the dynamic with him between him and Keshav is still the same.
There's very little of it. I loved that scene where he says, "I like this shirt more than that shirt." Like I wanted more of that, man. Like how cute, no?
Yes, very cute.
They're still like even what triggers his ego is once again Pushpa, Keshava only.
Keshava,
Like, were you shocked?
Yeah.
Mangalam Srindu was shocked, but were you shocked? No. Okay, so you think I'm a
I'll
loser.
do anything for money.
Yeah, so you are looking down on me.
Yeah.
So for him, Keshava thinks about him matters.
Because Keshava is the guy who puts Pushpa on the track that he's on.
Yeah.
So even though that is never acknowledged, this is unsaid and this is the dynamic that they have. So Keshav is actually a very important character. And it's sad to see that he is not explored at all. He is now a sidekick.
No, that's because of multiple reasons. So what happened off screen also might be a reason. I really miss his narration. His narration in Pushpa is iconic, man. Like Pushpa without Keshava's narration, I can't imagine the way he introduces each character or the way he sets up a situation. Like it's very funny and even Pushpa
such a great actor also.
He's such a great actor, but yeah. So even he says that, so will you be, when Srivali asks Pushpa when he's carrying her to the bathroom, will you be at least at home even after the baby comes? He's like, yeah, after the baby is here, I'll be here only. I'll hand over everything to Keshava and I'll be with you guys. So he gives so much importance to Keshava. And Kesha gets a couple of reaction shots, which are very cute because even in the first scene where Pushpa tells the MP that you are the CM, you get two reactions of Keshava and that it elevates the whole scene superbly because Keshava has always been Pushpa's first fan.
So he is the guy who found the talent. He recognized the
talent.
So again, one more thing that has worked for me, which people are not fan of for some reason, the whole Srivalli Pushpa dynamic.
It's not working for people?
Telugu people, because they don't want their women to express sexuality for some reason. I don't know. Again, this is where
that I really liked.
Yeah, this is where our conservatism kicks in. Even though everybody likes it, I don't know, but they are finding it. They are.
Sukumar's portrayal of romance has always been very physical.
Yeah.
Always.
That's why sometimes it has been problematic. But still, here I didn't see any problematic elements as far as sexualities were concerned in Pushpa 2. Even Pushpa 1 had a lot of problematic elements. But Pushpa 2 largely did not have any problematic elements. This is how a man and a woman who are married and who love each other are going to be.
So there are two very small moments that Srivalli gets I really liked. When this guy is going to go tell sorry to Shekhawat, she comes and she's folding his shirt and she says, see, MP Garu, whatever he did, like he's the one who made you this. I'm pretty sure whatever he does, whatever he says or asks you to do is for your good. But you know what to do the best, so go for it. So she's never imposing anything, but she's trying to guide him. Like she's trying to tell him that this is the right thing to do, but I'm not asking you to do that. And same thing when he's leaving in the helicopter at the end, she comes, she gives him the aarti and all. She says, forget about papam punyam. Make sure that if something happens to the girl, they are not alive. So she's like a reflection of his conscience. So
and that scene is very important because that's how usually the standard because women do not have the power to dictate. They only have the power to suggest usually. But Srivalli does dictate certain things. It's maneuvered very well. It comes from how, like Sukumar might have seen how women how he's, this is speculation on my part, but that's how usually women in Telugu families operate. So that is done very well. So that scene is very important where she's suggesting what to do and while he's going. But he's like, she's thinking, now I'm fallen even in the eyes of my wife.
Where he asks her also, no? What do you think?
Usually he doesn't. So that whole interval pre-build-up scene is the best sequence for me, and it's done very well, except those few suggestion shots.
For me, the Jatara conversation between the two of them was like the first time I watched it, the emotional beats didn't hit me. The second time, the emotional beats really worked for me. Those two moments where he's talking to Srivalli about why he wants a girl child, that moment was beautiful. See, the entire Jatara sequence, I really liked it because it's just not Jatara. A lot of things happen in the Jatara also. Like there is a reveal, like there is a dance. The dance, I mean, I'm surprised we still haven't talked about it.
Which is Jatara dance.
Gangu Renukatalli. That song is fucking amazing and his performance is so good. And after that, the conversation with Srivalli and how tender this guy is, that idea gets reiterated here. And then obviously the fight, I like the fight, but again, the purpose is a problem for me. Then the ending, the wedding card sequence was also, at least in second viewing, that emotional payoff worked for me. But I really wish they had kept that chain. Me and Saideep were talking, our cameraman, that I wish that guy had given that locket along with that wedding invitation, and it would have been such a cool payoff. But it's okay.
I see. Are you okay with the fact that Pushpa being vulnerable suddenly in front of people? Because Pushpa is crying in front of everybody. Is that part of his character?
Is it new?
I think he doesn't usually show emotions publicly. He doesn't show his emotion to his mom also.
That engagement scene, no?
When
there is that scene. So I'm not. That is again once I'm saying that is not a big deal for me. But I genuinely wish the final scene was a scene between him and his mother. I wish that was not set in front of everyone, because that is a very intimate moment for him and his mother, right? That scene would have made it.
Literally everybody is out the house, like they're climbing upstairs
from that side and this side. That kind of dilutes the impact, but I wish that scene was more personal instead of what it is now. But it's okay. Again, these are complaints that you and I might say, but the rest of people, I don't think
everything works because Allu Arjun is such a great actor. He's selling everything.
Like I don't think anybody is even talking about the flaws, because they are enamored by
his performance.
Allu Arjun.
And I was surprised how many again, this is where the choices of the Sukumar kick in. How he is showing Allu Arjun. He's not glamorizing him. He's giving him all the hard angles, all the hard close-ups. They are not. I think they have gone for a even grittier skin tone, grittier look.
Like when he is drinking, his face and his lips are all
They have not glamorized him at all. They are not showing him stylishly, which I like, which I love.
And he's sitting and eating mutton like an animal, which is cool, no?
Yeah. And he only drinks once when he's not in control. He's not usually a drinker. So everything is like, it's done very, very well.
Lots to.
Yeah. And they're amongst everything. He's like, ekkada techaru paana ani.
Yeah. Juvvu mani kadutundi. And he's like, అది డి శ్రీనివాస్ ఇది బి శ్రీనివాస్ లైక్ ఆ డి బ్రో దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ పుష్ప వుడ్ సే సో ఆ మాత్రం చేయలేదు.
I think all these things were written for the first part. So we don't see, we see these flashes of great writing that is a carryover from the first part. Whenever they've written anything new, that's where things go on.
You think the Pushpa the brand kind of overpowered everything?
Literally, I mean, see, we only see the brand thing by the end of first part. With the second part, everything is a brand. People randomly using brand. I was not, see, the only cool thing where the reference of brand comes in is where, like you were saying, Shikawa does this. That's cool. But Srivalli saying brand, then All India permit thing.
That's that seal. That reminded me of Salar.
Yeah, literally.
That handprint.
Yeah.
Again, don't abuse me, but that reminded me of.
There were scenes from Devara also, like how they
under the sea.
So there are certain things that are not. Again, this is where the scaling up problem comes in. But we were supposed to talk about the positives.
Yeah, we didn't talk.
No.
Let's get back to positives.
Yeah.
Like we have been appreciating, no, in between and all.
Yeah. But
man, I'm telling you something. For me, Pushpa is Allu Arjun is Pushpa.
That was never so. Like I was saying in my review also, Pushpa 1 was a 2-man, 3-man job, and primarily if I had to pick one person, I would have picked Sukumar. Even though, like I gave Allu Arjun the credit for okaying this project. It was such a gutsy move. So it's a Sukumar's film, and it becoming an out and out Allu Arjun film doesn't make it Pushpa. It makes it something else. That's the problem, if I can sum it up.
So that's what I'm saying. Just because the film is going to make 1,000 crores or 1,500 crores, which
it
is
might
great.
even make 2,000 crores, and we are very happy.
Very happy
making
about
2,000 crores is the
very
biggest thing for us.
Like I'm telling you, that Book My Show thing still made me so happy, even though I'm not getting one penny out of it.
I was anticipating this, and people were claiming, like in our lives and all, I was saying people are going to shock, and our last video's thumbnail was also India is not ready. I don't think India is still ready. I still think people, like, it's going to take 3 weeks. Yesterday I tweeted this. It's going to take 3 weeks to fully absorb the impact that Pushpa 2 is going to create. It's going to take us time. Because in this fast-paced world, we are seeing. But the Pushpa 2 conversation will build for 3 to 4 weeks. And that's where it will hit us. Or it will hit the large conscious of the public. That, okay, Pushpa 2 is this big deal. But but I'm see, this is again a very selfish thing. I'm unhappy because I'm not fully part of it. I'm not able to enjoy the euphoria of it fully. Even though I'm happy for the commercial success and all.
Yeah.
But if it were to be a great film, I would have been even more happier.
Proud,
we have made such a great film and it's making money. Now the whole argument.
I'm happy as a Telugu cinema fan, okay. But again, as a Telugu cinema fan, I'm so happy that the film is playing in some northeastern town and it's going houseful.
Imphal.
No, Imphal, I know Imphal. There are other towns which I'm not aware of, and the film is playing there and it's going houseful there. So I'm very happy about it. But little bit more. But that's okay. Everybody is enjoying it. Thankfully, we are in the minority. We don't matter. Our opinion
doesn't matter.
It never did. But it's okay to register our appreciation, disappointment, our thoughts basically. It's okay. Everybody has freedom to do so. And I'm genuinely happy. I'm telling you, a lot of people like my mom and dad, they enjoyed the movie.
It's okay.
Like my dad told
They are
me,
having a good time. See, for most people, cinema is a good time.
good time, yeah.
And Pushpa is a good time. Because
It's a good time. I also had fun.
How can anybody not have good time with Pushpa around? Pushpa is a fun guy. He's a quirky guy. So people are having fun and good time.
Celebrating the character, and everybody is doing that. That is why we are seeing the numbers.
Yeah.
If the film didn't work for the majority, numbers wouldn't have been the same. People are enjoying it. That is why it is working, and I'm happy that they are enjoying. I also had a good time. Like we said, we registered our thoughts. Thank you so much.
No, yeah. Maybe we can end on this. It's a testament to the fact that how reviews matter so little. I know everything is about
Exactly. We keep talking about reviews. We keep complaining about reviews. We don't matter. Reviews don't matter if you are actually interested in a film.
And people will come up and say, okay, for big films it doesn't matter. No, this whole review conversation happened for big films.
It was triggered because of big films.
Yes, because nobody actually cares about small films. Because we are the ones who are literally we are the only ones
I
who
don't
are
want to
watching.
sound arrogant or anything. That's true only.
Yeah, nobody, bro. We don't even like. We are contemplating sometimes. I'm sure you also do. Whether to review a film or not, because there's no interest that somebody will watch the video or not.
True.
So, like
you show interest in small films, we'll talk about small films.
Yeah, and we are anyway doing it. The point is,
even the small films, even the smaller films, there are so many films that you haven't even heard the names of, and I have seen many films. I've seen the trailers of films. I talk to the directors as much as possible. I try to push it, but the fact is, people are interested in. The fact is, people are interested in bigger films only, and I can't blame them either. Why do they want? Why should they go and watch a film made by a random person if they don't have
priorities.
The trust?
I get everyone's priorities. I'm not claiming it's our job, so we do it. It's okay, and we also love watching films. So we are doing it for ourselves. That's fine. But attaching a certain exaggerated self-importance or exaggerated importance to the impact of reviews, that is blown out of proportion. So it's so that is the problem. I mean, it's clear now. So people are going to talk about cinema. We are going to talk about cinema. People who like to watch it, they'll watch it. People who don't like to listening to someone's views, they'll not watch it. And if they are interested in watching a film, they'll watch it. If they are not interested to watch a film, they'll not watch it, despite the reviews. Nobody's flocking theaters because the reviews are good. That's never happening.
Or even if that happens, the proportion is insignificant.
Literally.
Countable on fingers. Like, countable.
Our family members don't watch
our reviews or take us seriously.
No, like even when they say it's a good film, they're not going to the theater.
They'll wait for it on OTT.
Yeah. So we are going through a crisis. I think Pushpa is an aberration, but I'm happy that Pushpa is making money. So we'll have to see. Telugu film industry.
It will keep making money, man. It's going to kill it.
No, Pushpa 2 is going to make money, but Telugu industry 2024 has been a disaster.
I wouldn't agree.
2024 has been a disaster for Telugu industry.
Okay, we'll reserve that for another video.
We are making that?
We are making that.
Okay, nice. So we have a lot of things to say. So we'll give you a lot of tea in that video. Yeah. So people have a lot of misconceptions on Telugu film industry. So we would like to clear those things. We'll discuss a lot of.
We forgot to talk about the team.
Yeah. So I think
Sukumar
technical.
Like today I was noticing like how many credits.
Yes.
It's every writer got one credit, man. Like and even Sukumar was also saying this, right? That there is a credit for brevity. Right? True, no?
Yeah.
Like there is Katha Vistarana, like story expansion. That's a credit that I've seen in the past, but there is a credit for that also.
Okay, I could not watch the credits.
No, not those credits are sped up. They are very fast and furious. But I'm talking about the opening credits.
Okay.
Those credits they have created every writer, which is very cool.
Cool thing.
And they even I think assistant directors or someone.
We were discussing this in our previous video, no? So who actually wrote the film?
Who actually wrote Pushpa? Like they even credited based on the schedules they have worked on.
Yes.
And this person named Shriman is credited as second unit director and the truck episode director. So nice, man. Nice. Glad that at least people are getting that spotlight and credit.
And even Sukumar yesterday on stage acknowledged.
Yeah. That's why I brought this up. I'm happy.
Good thing. But technically, even though I think because of, so maybe we can end on this. Pushpa 1 feels large.
Yeah,
Pushpa 2, even though it's a much higher budget film, it feels small because of all the closed environments. It was largely shot on set.
yeah, that was evident.
Yeah.
Green screen was
Yeah.
like it was perceivable. I mean, first film was very raw and very natural. There was that expanse to the first film because a lot of it was shot on real locations. This film, I could see that okay, this is shot indoors. This is a set. I could
And
feel
all
that.
the flaws in production design were evident because I don't think they had the time. So we could see, okay, set is not proper here, and the camera work,
Or it is too proper.
yeah, it's too proppy.
Yeah.
It looks like a prop. It doesn't feel real. Camera work, even though it's great in parts, but largely it did not have that Pushpa 1
What
greatness.
that had, no? Yeah.
But what's your take on music? I had this huge problem with song placements. Suseki was such a mind. What the? Literally, you are having this heartfelt moment.
Yeah.
Literally, she's singing like she's choreographed. She's doing choreographed maneuvers.
But some people are calling it a crazy song placement. For me, that felt very abrupt.
Even my co-host was saying it's a great song placement, but it's not. For me, it hasn't worked. Almost all. Kisik was totally bad, man.
Really?
Yeah. Kisik, the whole picturization was bad. Like, obviously it's a Telugu film and it's Pushpa and it's a Sukumar film, so you need to have a item song. I get it. But you also don't want you don't want Pushpa to dance with random hot women. So you literally have the wife in the song.
And she is giving him it was cute only for me.
No, I don't know.
Really, that was a problem for you? I didn't mind it at all.
Okay, it did not work.
Because I have a very weird theory, but I can't say it online, on record. But that really wasn't a problem. For me, Suseki placement was, again, man, for the first time I was like, what the fuck is happening? Second time, since I was prepared, I'm like, okay, it's a nice, cute moment. So I didn't mind it.
Okay, given everything, it's not such a big problem. But
like we have seen Liger and all, no? So
no, I'm obsessed with Sukumar's item songs. It's
you didn't have a problem with Anil. Tell me this, because one of the biggest complaints on you is that you liked Liger. You didn't have an issue with Liger's song placement.
Liger has a lot of issues. I probably am the only guy who's making this comparison. Liger and Pushpa have the same issue. They don't have an ending. Liger and Pushpa do have the same issue.
Let's end.
Yeah, maybe okay. Score me the one you.
No score. See, for me, generally, unless the score is very catchy, like how Anirudh tends to do it, or how Jakes Bijoy did in Saripoda Shanivaram, for me the score needs to be very catchy, and this is not a catchy score. So it will take me like Salar also. Salar score also took me a couple of rewatches and listening.
Those are great. This is generic.
I'll say I don't want to comment on score now because it didn't make much of an impact for me apart from the Jatara sequence. But score I'll need. I'm not saying I'm going to rewatch it again, but score is something that I take time to process generally. Okay. If anything that is not catchy, but for me that the point is that money shot, the Chira Kongu shot. I have seen that visual in PVRs and AAA so many times. I might have seen that teaser at least 50 times from April to now, at least 50 times in multiplexes. That particular moment didn't give me kick. Because it is used in the same way also.
It's used in the same way, but of course Navin only cuts and he gives us a close-up. But the score for that is, I think, is scored by DSP. But rest of the score I think is scored by somebody else. So there is an abrupt cut and this track
to accommodate this track. No?
So that totally took me out of the whole scene.
That moment. It's almost like Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning's the bike jump. Like the bike jump is supposed to be the biggest moment of the film, but by the time you are sitting in the theater and watching that film, you have seen it some 100 times. So, but it's okay. I hope at least in commercial films they reserve these money shots.
I think they were worried about things coming out of, things leaking. So they only showed it. I get it. I mean, it's okay. Indian sets are very leaky.
See, movie making money
It's a great thing.
is a great thing, but it's not an excuse.
Yes.
The film is like last time we spoke, but that part got deleted. A film might make, be it Kalki or Devara, they made money, but even Pushpa, it's making money, but we still can't talk about things that didn't work for us.
But I'm much more happy about Pushpa to making money because there's literally there are efforts. It's not.
Yeah.
It's. I don't think they went for the cash grab. At least they have not gone for
No,
it.
the ending kind of felt like a cheating, man. I was disappointed with the ending. With, like I said, ending, I felt like I was cheated. So I personally, I have this thing with sequels. So the ending was a big disappointment for me. But tell me this:
First
rate
part,
Kalki, Devara, Pushpa. Rate this thing.
This is my biggest. So even in one of our live streams, people were asking the same question. If they had asked me the same question 2 weeks back, I would have died. But today I'm okay because Pushpa 2 by the end becomes a conventional Telugu film. Yeah, so Devara is again, this is a tricky, this is a googly. So Pushpa 2 obviously, Devara is somewhere in the middle. Kalki did not work for me at all. Because Devara is product of its expectations. So I did not expect anything from Devara. And it did not, it delivered what I expected from it, which is nothing. So Devara sits in the middle. So Kalki was a total disaster for me because it fails at every level. Even though there are fans for Kalki, they claim it's a visionary film and all. No, the filmmaker literally gave up on the lead character because of various factors. He literally gave up on the lead character. He concentrated on tertiary things. But I did not come to the film to watch tertiary things. And whatever he went for also did not work for me. Whatever has largely worked for people, the whole Amitabh Bachchan character, that did not work for me at all. So Kalki ends up being neither great in terms of its technical achievements, neither.
Hey, great, not great in terms of technical achievements.
Yeah, they. See, I'm not
Visual
a fan
was-
of green screen, man. Like, okay, at no point. Okay, this is me talking. I'm a fucking nobody, so it doesn't matter. So this is my personal opinion. You have asked for my opinion, so I'm giving it to you. So Kalki, so doesn't give it to me in terms of its storytelling, neither in terms of its vision for what it is trying to tell and all. So Kalki, for me, it fails at every level.
Okay.
So Pushpa 2 at least has a great first half. I love the character. It has great moments for me. So I'll probably rewatch the first half. So first half has great rewatch value. Second half doesn't have great rewatch value. So Pushpa 2 still.
Pushpa 2 is on the top.
On top. Like, and by a mile also. It's not a
Yeah,
close
the difference
competition.
between Pushpa and the second film is.
Yeah, but because of the second half, I'm okay with this conversation. Earlier, I wouldn't have this conversation. But Pushpa 2 is still 1 and Devara is probably 0 and Kalki is in negative for me. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a very controversial take, but this is my take. Okay.
Super.
I'm a big fan of Prabhas, by the way.
అన్ని కవర్ చేసినాం కదా.
Yeah. So costumes.
వద్దులే,
Vada?
కాస్ట్యూమ్ గురించి ఆల్రెడీ మాట్లాడి దెబ్బలు తిన్నా. సో
Okay.
థ్యాంక్ యూ మ్యాన్,
Yes.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ for the time and for all the insights.
Yes. So if this wrap up video is happening, it will be a very interesting one. So if it's happening,
We'll do a 5-hour long wrap up video.
okay.
We'll discuss every film week by week.
Yes. I wasn't expecting, or at least the idea of, so this is one big comment that people are making, that why are you doing this in English? So Ram's idea was to reach non-Telugu audience. I had my I was skeptical about it, that whether other people from other regions were going to watch it or not. They did, for whatever it's worth. So as people from other cultures, non-Telugu cultures, are interested in what we have to say.
And I have this problem. I think it's hypocrisy.
Okay.
We take a lot of pride in our films going international, our films going national and all, but we want to restrict the discussion about our films to Telugu. I think it's a disservice to the films. So
It doesn't make sense.
I want to do it in English because our films are no longer catering to just
Telugu audience.
Telugu audience. They're not catering to just Telugu people. We have gone beyond the Telugu state. So it's okay if film journalists and our film discussions also travel beyond borders.
So it's a good thing. So we want to expose more of the underbelly parts of Telugu film industry.
Sad that we are the ones representing it,
Yeah,
but
sad.
wish there were better people to do it.
Yes.
But just kidding.
Yes.
He's great. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. No.
Chalo.
Yes. Pushpa 2, happy about success.
Happy, very happy.
Taste Daily. Taste the Daily.
அனுஜ் ஸ்டைல்ஸ் ரகங்கள் பலவிதம் ஒவ்வொன்றும் உலகத்தரம்.
Holidays nale adu namma GT Holidays da. South India's #1 travel brand.